Have you ever been recognized from your mugshot at your kid's career day? I'd practiced my presentation about being a financial advisor 50 times. The PowerPoint was perfect, complete with kid-friendly explanations about helping families save money. I'd even brought candy to hand out. What I hadn't prepared for was Timmy Watson's dad walking in right before me. Officer Watson, in full uniform, was wrapping up his talk about being a police officer. The third graders were mesmerized as he showed them his badge, his radio, and then pulled up a presentation about stranger danger. That's when my perfectly planned day went sideways. Sometimes we have to arrest people who make bad choices, Officer Watson explained, clicking to his next slide. This is what we call a booking photo. There I was, 22 years old, bloodshot eyes, holding a number board. The photo from the worst night of my life was now projected on a screen in front of 28 8-year-olds, including my daughter Sophie. Officer Watson hadn't noticed me yet, sitting in the back corner waiting my turn. He continued his presentation, explaining how people who break the law get their pictures taken, but Sophie had noticed. She was staring at the screen, then at me, then back at the screen. "Daddy?" she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. Every head in the room turned. Officer Watson followed their gaze, looked at the screen, then at me. His hand instinctively moved to his radio. Mrs. Peterson, the teacher, looked confused. "Mr. Torres, do you know this person in the photo?" The room was dead silent. Sophie's eyes were filling with tears. The other kids were whispering. One boy said, "Sophie's dad is a criminal." I stood up slowly. That's me, from a long time ago. Officer Watson clicked off the presentation quickly, but it was too late. The damage was done. Sophie ran out of the room crying. Mrs. Peterson followed her. I was left standing in front of a room full of third graders who were looking at me like I was dangerous. "I should go," I said. "Sit down," Officer Watson said, his cop voice on. "You're on the list to present. These kids deserve to hear your story." I didn't understand what he meant until he added quietly, "the real one," so I sat back down. When Mrs. Peterson returned with Sophie, her face red and puffy, I asked if I could go next. My PowerPoint about compound interest seemed pointless now. 11 years ago, I started, my voice shaking. I made the worst decision of my life. I was in college, stressed about finals, and someone offered me pills to stay awake and study. I didn't know they were illegal. I didn't know they were dangerous. Sophie was watching me from her seat, hugging her backpack. I got caught. I was arrested. That photo Officer Watson showed, that was the worst night of my life. I lost my scholarship. I disappointed my parents. I thought my life was over. A kid raised his hand. "Did you go to jail?" I did, for 3 months. It was scary and lonely. I missed my family. I realized I'd thrown away everything I'd worked for because I wanted a shortcut. "But you're not in jail now," another kid pointed out. "No, because jail isn't forever if you learn from your mistakes. When I got out, I had to start over. No college would take me. No one would hire me, but I didn't give up. I went to community college at night while working at a warehouse during the day. It took me 6 years to finish what should have taken 4. Sophie was listening intently now. "I studied finance because I wanted to help people make better decisions than I did. Every job application asked about my criminal record. Most said no, but finally, someone gave me a chance. A small firm owned by a man who believed people could change. My daddy helps people save for college," Sophie said quietly. "He says it's important so kids don't make bad choices like he did." "That's right, baby. Every family I help, every college fund I set up, it's my way of making up for my mistake. I can't erase what I did, but I can try to do better every single day." Officer Watson stepped forward. "Mr. Torres reached out to our department 5 years ago. He volunteers with our youth program, talking to teenagers about the dangers of drug use. He's helped dozens of kids avoid the mistake he made." I looked at him surprised. I didn't know he knew about that. "How many of you have made a mistake?" Mrs. Peterson asked the class. Every hand went up. "How many of you got a second chance to do better?" The hands stayed up. Sophie walked to the front of the room and took my hand. "My daddy made a bad choice, but he's a good person now." After the presentation, Officer Watson pulled me aside. "I didn't know you were Sophie's dad when I loaded that slide. I use it in all my presentations. I'm sorry." "Don't be," I said. "She needed to hear it from me eventually. Better here, with context, than finding it online someday." That night, Sophie had a lot of questions. Hard questions about choices and consequences and second chances, but she also told me she was proud that I'd turned my life around. "You're like a superhero," she said at bedtime. "You were bad, then you became good." "Not quite," I laughed, "but I try to be better every day. That's what superheroes do," she insisted. Last week, Sophie won her class essay contest. The topic was my hero. She wrote about me. Not the financial advisor me, but the whole me. The one who fell down and got back up.